Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do a quick weekly reading update for November 7th, 2021. So, as I said, this month is going to be a lot less reading, more writing. I was actually behind by the end of the week, and I have to write a lot today. I've already written 2,500 words. I need to write 500 more to make NaNoWriMo. I'm on track. So that is the goal today. Anyway, so I did quite a bit already, but I just got back from raking again outside. Not fun. Anyway, so as I said, I'm not doing a lot of videos this month. Mostly my weekly updates is kind of it. I had my book haul yesterday. So that's kind of all I have planned. Something easy comes up, I'll do it, but really my focus is on my reading. And unfortunately, Animal Crossing is like taking over my world as well, because I redid my island, and I'm not to the point where I get to play with all the new things yet because I haven't rebuilt it up. So anyway, so I'm working on that too. Anyway, so let's talk about what I did read this week, the things I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. And as I said, I'm in the middle of a lot of books, and I've gotten myself into that where I've softy enough things where I put them aside and I'll come back to them. December is usually my cleanup month for the year. June and December usually I try to clean up everything that I can maybe finish and get it done. But so I will be, December's looking pretty busy already just from that. But the only book I finished this week was Magic Shifts by Alona Andrews. This is book 8 in the Kate Daniels series. Again, I'm reading these with Tia and all the books. We're buddy reading the whole series. We're hoping to finish by the end of the year. We're on track. It's doing well. We're going well. So this one, as I said, is number 8. So this was like a really kind of a return to some of the earlier books of kind of how the plot wasn't so much of an overarching as the last 2 books have been just incredible. So this one was just good. Like, I really enjoyed this. This is a good, solid entry. It just wasn't my favorite. It didn't give me all the feels like the last 2 did. So it's not going to be one that I'm like, oh, I mean, I really want to reread this once I've read the whole series. Again, it's still one of those things. So again, this is urban fantasy where we're following Kate, who at the beginning of the series is a mercenary with and is in a world where is an alternate Atlanta, Georgia, where magic comes and goes. When the magic is up, no technology works, and when the magic is down, then the technology works. So it's kind of a combination world. So there are people who are shifters and witches and people, masters of the dead, who control vampires. And again, she is a mercenary in the first book. And this is her story, her overarching with all the people that she meets. Very much found family. So much good stuff in this. This was a good entry. I did like a lot of things that happened in here, and more questions popped up for things that are going to probably happen in the next 2 books. But I liked it. It just wasn't one of my favorites. It won't be near the top of that list. But I still really enjoyed it. And again, I recommend this series. It's so much fun. So we're reading the next short novella in a week, next Sunday. I had to think, what day am I on? Next Sunday we'll be reading Magic Stars, so that I will be reading one more of that, and then we have another book later in the month. So anyway, so again, I'm really, really enjoying that series, and I'm really enjoying our reading of that. The other book that I started this week and I'm almost done with is my reread of The Will to Battle by Ada Palmer. This is the 3rd book in the Terra Ignota series. I didn't know it was no. I don't know why I always thought it was Nada, and it's Ignota. Anyway, I had it wrong the whole time. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Listening to the audiobook, it finally popped up, and I'm like, oh, I have been saying that wrong the whole time, so I apologize. Anyway, so this is book 3 of 4. The 4th book just came out. So I was doing my reread this year. I read, I don't remember what month I started in. It was earlier, I think it was in the spring. I read 2 Like the Lightning, and then I read 7 Surrenders. Did I do that in August or September? I don't know. I can't remember where I'm at. So I was supposed to do this in October, and I just didn't get to it because the book, the next book was supposed to come out in October, but they delayed it due to the supply issues. So it just came out this week. Anyway, so I'm almost done with my reread of this. I'm listening to an audio by T. Ryder Smith, and he is really good. The first book is narrated by somebody else. I think it's Jefferson Mays, which was really good too. It was just a weird switch to 7 Surrenders, which the narrator becomes this one, and then this guy does the last 3 books. It's weird, but it was still really good. Anyway, so this audiobook is really, really good. As I said, looks like I'm about 35 pages from the end. I couldn't get it done. I have like an hour and 15 minutes on the audiobook because I do 1.5 speed. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this. I'm reading this because I want to read the next book, which is real soon. So anyway, but I need to finish this first. So again, this is science fiction, dystopian, utopian, where we're like 2450 or something in the future. And the world has split up where there's no longer like countries. People are still from certain regions, but they're all attached or not attached to a hive. And the hives are what drive the government system of Earth. And so these books are all showing the things that are slowly going wrong with this system after so many years of 300 years with peace, and how things are changing and what people make, what decisions they make to try to keep it, and when some think that they should just have it and be done with it, or, you know, to move forward. And so again, Will to Battle is really still commenting on so much stuff. This is such a weird twist of historical fiction details and history and science and futuristic stuff, and and politics. I mean, it is really incredible. Mycroft Canner is our narrator who is writing the history of everything, and he's not he is probably the only, I would say, non-reliable narrator that I've ever loved. I love him. I know I shouldn't, but the point is I do love Mycroft Canner, and he's one of my favorite characters of all time. So far through these. So anyways, I'm rereading this. I read this when it first came out. I think it was 2017. So it's been, so 2017. So again, it's 4 years since this book came out, and now the last book is coming out. So anyway, so I almost done with that and just adoring the audiobook and getting back into that world. And again, I didn't remember much of what had happened in this one. For some reason, this book was the most, I didn't remember as much from as I was rereading it. The other 2 I remembered pretty well. I still are shocked because I forgot a lot of stuff, but anyway. And then I am still reading The Heroine's Journey by Gail Carriger. So this is a nonfiction book on the heroine's journey, which is kind of a different version of like the hero's journey, but there's like 2 different versions, and it has to do with a lot of how the journey starts. A lot of times the hero makes the choice to make the journey. A lot of times the heroine's journey, the heroine does not have a choice. And again, Gail Carriger is very good about saying this is not a male and female. This is just, it's just 2 separate lines, and both men and women can be the heroine or the hero. So she gives a lot of good examples from social media with Wonder Woman and Harry Potter and Star Wars and other things where she shows which journeys they are and which parts are from the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm in the middle of learning more about the heroine's journey because again, I don't know a whole lot about it. It's one of those things where I think like as soon as I read about it, I'm like, oh, I totally see this. Like I've seen this in books. I just didn't know that there was a term for it because I always figured it was always part of the hero journey. And it just was like an offshoot, like a difference. And even though I've read The Hero of a Thousand Faces and some other books like that, I didn't really understand that there was a whole nother journey that in writing for, you know, again, for books and movies and other things. And so I think this is really good so far. Again, Gail Carriger is one of my favorite authors. I love the Parasol Protectorate series and the offshoots from that. So, but this is her nonfiction. So I'm reading this for Nonfiction November, which is put on by A Book Olive. Again, I've done this, did I say 5 or 6 years? What year am I on? I don't know, 5? I don't know. Anyway, point is I've done it a lot of years. I think it's my 5th year. Anyway, so that's my nonfiction pick. This week I didn't get to read a whole lot of it because of work and writing. I still want to come back to The Widow of Rose House by Diana Biller. I got a little bit farther in on Sunday, and then I set it down because I knew my buddy read was happening on Monday with Magic Shifts. So I do want to pick this up again sometime this week, but it might have to hold because I'll get to that in a second. But this is a 1875 New York City area where a woman who is considered scandalous from the way her marriage went, and she had been staying in Europe. she has come back and she bought a mansion that she remembers as a kid and wants to fix it, and then, you know, take pictures of how her decorating sense to kind of have a book to show the masses, you know, the more middle class, how to upgrade their houses without, you know, maybe not being totally opulent in the upper crust, but to show how to do decorating. And so she gets a house that's considered haunted, and her name just went right on my head, Ava. And then Sam is a scientist from a very powerful scientist family, so everybody knows who he is. And he's really interested in ghosts and things, and he wants to do experiments at her house. And so they're kind of going back and forth. Again, I've only got just under 100 pages into this, so I still want to come back to this. There are things I don't like about some of the narration, and some of Ava's backstory is a little, I don't want to say heavy-handed, but just kind of like, really, all that? But we'll see. I love the moments between her and Sam, so it's kind of, you know, as I said, it's historical romance of some sort. So with ghosts, I'm hoping. And I don't know, we'll see. So I might come back to this, but I'm not positive right now. I did try another library book, A Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow. So I got this from the library this week. I've read 16 pages, yeah, and I don't know. So this is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but it's kind of twisted. So we have, okay, I just read her name, and it's Xenia. She has some kind of a disease that says that she probably won't live past her 21 years. And so she's just had her 21st birthday. So they figure in the next year she's probably going to die from this disease. So she's lived with this kind of time limit. And her best friend sets up this party for Sleeping Beauty because her favorite fairy tale was Sleeping Beauty as a kid. And she gets a spindle from somewhere. And around midnight, she touches the spindle. And then she gets sucked into another world. So that's as far as I've gotten. I've kind of, I don't know. It's very now. So it's very much like they're on their cell phones in different worlds. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I don't know. So it's only 100 and, I don't know. I can't remember what I said. It's like 119 pages. So I'm 16 pages in, and I was already kind of struggling last night. And I don't know if it's because I was tired, which could be. So I'm going to give this one more shot. I've not read anything by this author. I think I have Once and Future Witches on my Kindle, which I want to read or try. So, but I want to try this because I guess there's going to be another, I think it's Fractured Fairy Tales or something. I don't remember what the series is called. But I want to try it. So if you guys have read this, let me know if it gets better. I mean, it's really great. Has all the has these pictures in it that they take from, oh, what was his name? Arthur Rackham, which I had never heard of. So anyway, anyway, so that's kind of a weird one that anyway, so those are all the ones I'm in the middle of and hoping to get to parts of this week. So then what I want to read in the next week. Well, again, I'm going to finish the Will to Battle audiobook today. I have, as I said, an hour, 15 minutes. I'm going to probably play with my book journal or play on my iPad or something just to get it done. I just want to finish it. And then, I did buy the audiobook to Perhaps the Stars because I have loved the audiobooks in the series. But I'm not sure I want to read it by audiobook the first time. But my library hold came in yesterday. So I did get Perhaps the Stars by Ada Palmer, book 4 in the Terra Ignota series. So I do want to read this. This thing is gigantic compared to the other books. The other books are all under 400 pages or close to 400. And this one is 592. And the audiobook is like 35 hours. I don't know what it is on 1.5, so it would be like 20 some hours probably. Anyway, so I think I'm going to read this physically because I got it I asked my library to buy it. I've asked them to buy every one since the first one. The first one I bought on my own, but the other ones I got for the library first because they come out in hardback. And I don't want to buy hardback for these. But I am so looking forward to this. I've been waiting for this conclusion for years. I'm so excited. As I said, I'm finishing up the other book, so I am probably going to read this week. This is like my main priority this week is to get this done. I am so excited so that's why I want to finish it. But I've come to the decision. I have the audiobook if for some reason I'm somewhere and I need to listen to it, but I really think it's going to be a physical read the first time, and then I might reread it later next year as an audiobook. We'll see, because the audiobooks are really good, and but I think my first time is going to be physical again, like all the other ones. So I think I'm going to do that. And then if I do that, then the next audiobook I will pick up at work will probably be Network Effect by Martha Wells, because this popped in from my library, and this is the novel or book 5 in the Murderbot series. So I don't really know what this one's about, except that it's a lot longer, and it's like, I think it's a 13-hour audiobook. So, oop, I almost dropped the iPad. That would not be good. But I had it from the library. I expected to get it late in the month, and it popped up, and I'm like, darn it. So I'm probably going to read this before I start some of my nonfiction audiobooks. Now that I've decided that I'm going to physically, because again, I was waffling back and forth on this one, but I think I'm going to read that physically. And then I'm just not doing good here, guys. I just need to stop. Anyway, so hopefully that is it. I think that's all of it. That's, again, and oh, the only thing that might happen, matters what time when I finish Perhaps the Stars, but on the horizon is Brothers of the Wind by Tad Williams. I just got this week as well. This is my is a prequel to Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series and the Witchward Crown series. We're going all the way back to the beginning kind of thing of some of the Norns, or the ones who call themselves the Norns, where and how they came to the Ostenard, the area. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's only about 272 pages. I paid way too much for this hardback, but it's Tad Williams, and all the Ostengard and the Last King of or the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, all his books connected to that world, I get hardback. I have them all. Weird copies of them in the beginning, but I still buy them all. So I did pay a lot for this. I will read this in the next week. If not this week, then next week. But I want to read this now, but I told myself I had to finish some of my other books, and again, Perhaps the Stars showed up yesterday at the library, and I went and picked it up because I have to read that. So I think that's it. That's everything. That's my quick update. Quick for me. What are you guys reading? What are you guys doing this month? This month to me is already going so fast. We had inventory on Friday, so I totally lost that day of reading and everything. I only got to finish Magic Shifts that day because that was all I had time for, and I was brain dead because it was 9 hours of counting parts. Fun. Anyway, but we made it through, and I didn't have to go in on Saturday, so I guess I'll have to be that. But I was tired, and my feet still hurt from that. Now I just raked, and now my back hurts. So anyway, so now I'm going to go work on my NaNoWriMo. If you guys are doing that, let me know how you're doing. As I said, I'm 500 words from catching up and being on track for today, so that's good. Keep on track, even though I'm writing crap. But, you know, I haven't written in a year, and it feels so good to be writing again. I think it was kind of a mistake to start Nano as the first time I'm writing in a year, because it's kind of a lot of writing, but it's also jump-starting my brain, which, as I said, I feel like that I lost that in the last year or two of really writing. So this is good for me. Anyway, I think that's everything. Oh, the board, I cleaned it off for November. Sorry, the only thing we get to check off is one little continue for Magic Shifts. That's all I got so far this month. We'll see. If you guys have read Spindle Splintered, let me know if I should continue with that one. Everything else I'm probably going to continue at some point, but Perhaps the Stars is my main priority this next week. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.